Hey guys, it's Darren, the home for mobile reviews A.C, and today I'm going to do a review of the Dog Bone Wetsuit Impact. This is a waterproof case for your iPhone 7, and it is the thinnest and lightest waterproof case that I've used so far. This is also Monty's favorite case because, well, it has the word dog in it, and bone. If you need water and drop protection for everyday life because, you live by water, you probably want to go with the Dog Bone Wetsuit Impact. Now, Wirecutter has named this the best waterproof case for the iPhone 7. It's very decent, but it's not the highest rated according to my scoring system. There is one case that scores better than the Wetsuit Impact because it offers a bit more versatility. Now, for my Dog Bone Wetsuit Impact review, I've given this case a score of 3.8 A's out of 5. The LifeProof Fre scores a bit lower than the Impact at 3.7 A's out of 5, and the Impact scores lower than the Ghostek Atomic 3. Now, this doesn't mean that the Atomic 3 is the best overall case. My scoring system does take into account extra features that you might not need, which is why the score is a bit higher. More on that in a few minutes. If you need more information, do check out the links in the or the description section below. And if you're wondering why the waterproof case scores seem a lot lower, it's because I rate a lot more. There's a lot more things I rate against for the waterproofing. So, the scoring system isn't exactly the same between a waterproof case and a slim case.
Real usage. Real reviews. Mobile reviews-a.ca.
And mobile reviews A.C, we base everything on actual usage, which means, well, our reviews take forever because it's just me doing it all. But one of the best things I get to do is to compare, previous generations of cases with the newest generations of cases, as well as comparing them against all the other different cases. And I do this in a very consistent manner because I have an engineering background and I like numbers. Woo! Now, for design, the Impact adds only about 3 millimeters to the thickness of the entire iPhone, which actually makes this case one of the thinner cases even out of my top 10 slim iPhone 7 case list. The width of the iPhone is actually quite noticeable, but again, it's very, very slim. The design of the Impact for the iPhone 7 is quite different than the design for the 6. The overall package is slimmer while maintaining the same level of protection. I took a closer look at the two cases, and the things that I noticed, including the ribs on the inside of the new case, are much smaller, and the back has this rubbery piece that feels kind of neat. The membranes on the front of the cover are a little different than the previous version, which is a good thing because the iPhone call quality in this case is actually pretty good. The case fits well together, but the front of the case is quite slick, so if you put it face down, it's going to slide around easily. That's not a great quality to have when you consider you might be using it around a body of water, and water usually reduces the level of friction between an iPhone and whatever the iPhone is sitting on. The iPhone doesn't feel as stable in my hand because of the slick front, especially when compared to other cases like the Ghostek Atomic and the LifeProof Fre. For protection, the Impact is drop rated and waterproof up to 6.6 feet or 2 meters, which is actually nothing spectacular for a waterproof case. That's like average for a waterproof case. Surprisingly, the Dog Bone Wetsuit Impact comes with a flexible glass screen protector, which hasn't cracked like our iPhone 6 version. Now, when it comes to durability, I drop tested the LifeProof Fre, Ghostek Atomic, the Dog Bone Wetsuit, and the Dog Bone Wetsuit Impact, and the Impact is the only case that I could drop repeatedly without having pieces fall off and or having the case break. So from a durability standpoint, this is probably one of the tougher cases that will last longer than your other cases, or I guess in short, it can take a beating. If you're planning on being rough with your iPhone, get the Wetsuit Impact. Now, when it comes to functionality, the Wetsuit Impact, like every other waterproof case I have ever used, will reduce the overall sound quality of the iPhone. For my pink noise test, the Impact is decent in terms of call quality, but the overall loudness of the speakers is muted. Again, I get a lot of comments from previous waterproof case review things is that they're like, you don't ever talk about the call quality being poor. The call quality for every single waterproof case is poor. This is slightly better. So I'm just going on the record. I'm going to say it one more time. The call quality for all waterproof cases is poor, but the Wetsuit Impact is slightly better. For versatility, the Wetsuit Impact allows you to attach a wrist strap, which is actually necessary for a waterproof case. I also gave the Wetsuit Impact extra points for the removable plugs because, well, I know from experience people tend to pull on the cable as well as the plugs on their devices, and that usually results in torn plug ports. This isn't going to be an issue with the Impact, but if I remember correctly, previous versions of Dog Bone cases included spare plugs, so with the iPhone 7 version, don't lose them. The buttons on the case are actually a tad tougher to use than other cases, and this is probably the thing that I would notice the most on a day-to-day basis. The port cutout is big enough to use my belay cord cable, but not big enough for my awesome cable. So if you've got a slightly bigger than average iPhone cable, it's not going to fit. The case is so thin that there's no way the camera flash can be cropped, and I didn't have any issues in terms of taking photographs with the case on my iPhone. Screen usability and viewability of your iPhone in the case is awesome because the screen protector is actually a thin piece of glass rather than plastic, so everything's great. Maybe LifeProof should take a look at this case. If you know anybody who is looking for a waterproof case or might be interested in getting a waterproof case, share this video with them or some of the other videos about waterproof cases to them, because my reviews are very cohesive, complete. So I'm very sure they will benefit from watching these videos. Now, why does the Ghostek Atomic score a little higher than this case? For me, if I needed a waterproof case for a day-to-day basis, then I would go with this one. But I'm actually very careful with my iPhones. I generally don't drop them by accident. And so I would definitely have a screen protector, and because I've fallen in love with skins recently, I would have a skin. And so if I had to go get a waterproof case, if I was to get the Wetsuit Impact, I would have to go and take all that stuff off to put it back on and say, you know, I go to the lake for a week, then I have to come home and try to put the screen protector back on. And so that versatility with this case, if you're not planning on using it all the time, it's tough to deal with. Whereas in like the Ghostek Atomic, it fits with the screen protector, it fits with the skin. So you can easily take your day-to-day iPhone and add some water protection without really having to do anything, without having to take anything off, without risking breaking a glass screen protector. So that versatility, I think, is very important, which is why the Ghostek Atomic scores a bit higher. But if that does not matter to you and you need a case for day-to-day things, go with the waterproof things, go with the Dogsuit Impact. So that's all I have. If you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments section below. I do have to give props to Dog and Bone for sending me these cases. I'm glad I didn't have to drop $200 reviewing these cases. I do like how slim it is. It is my day-to-day go-to case for people looking for waterproof cases. Find me on Google Plus, Twitter, as well as Facebook. I am Aaron the Ho. This is Monty the Ho. This is his favorite case, isn't it? He's a little lethargic today because we just finished some sprint training. He's a tired puppy. He's like 52 human years old, so old man. And he smells like outside. It's kind of grody.